Hey TikTok, I just got back from doing that cute little shopping thing. I'm home now and I am making that tofu that I bought because y'all know I don't normally eat tofu. Here, look at it here, child. I don't have a lot of counter space, y'all, because I don't have like a full kitchen. It's like a cute little studio with a cute little setup here, so I don't have a lot of kitchen space. But here's the tofu. It's really, really firm. Okay, it's really firm. So I'm about to eat this, and as I'm sitting here, I was just thinking to myself, you know how they say that there's different like attachment types? Like, I think one of them is like avoidant, the other one is like secure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment. There's like different ones, right? Sorry about that, my alarm rang. So there's different attachments. And for me, I just thought to myself, like, if you are in a relationship with a person or you had like a friendship or a romantic or a family member who is avoidant, right? Like whenever there's like conflict, it's like, how do you get past that? How do you understand them? Because for me personally, like, I'm an anxious attachment style. And I don't want to overshare too much about, my personal life. But what I will say is that, a lot of people have trauma, right? Like we all have situations with family that trigger us, right? We have situations with family that we've been through or, right, we've been socialized. And one of my close friends, she told me, she was like, well, they say that whenever you're triggered, you handle relationships as you would handle your parents because your parents are your first lesson, right? So me and her had a really good conversation a week ago. Because I was kind of like, how do I deal with avoidant people? And this is avoidant people in general. Like I have several friends who are avoidants, right? And it's something that gets to me at times because I'm like, how do I deal with this person? Like I can't do the whole cutting off. I can't do that. I cut people off before, they cut me off before, right? But I'm just at a place in my life where with all of my relationships, like I try my best to foster them. I'm not perfect, right? None of us are perfect. No human on this earth is perfect. But I do think some of us have more self-awareness. And, we have more self-awareness and we're able to take accountability if we do make mistakes, especially if we care about our romantic partner, our friend, our sister, our brother, like if we actually care about them. Because everybody has a light side and a dark side, right? Everyone has that. It was just interesting when she said that. She was like, when you deal with stuff, are you thinking of your parents? Your parents are your first lesson on how to deal with conflict, right? And I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, we all get triggered and stuff, and I might handle things a certain way. Because I told her, I was like, why would you bring up my parents? This ain't about my parents. But she was like, well, I brought it up because that's how we deal with conflict. That's the root thing. So when you deal with a person who's an avoidant, they became that way for a reason, right? But I think what frustrates me about the avoidant attachment style of people is that how they handle things is they handle things of like, okay, well, I'm depressed or I feel this way. So I'm just gonna recline, right? I don't care about other people because this is how I feel. As someone who's anxious, and I feel like as I'm maturing, and as I've went to therapy and stuff, I'm slowly becoming secure. But that anxious still comes up in me because, you know, um, like I said, we all have our things. I ain't gonna tell too much of my business now, child. We all have our things. Sorry, y'all. These eyelashes got me looking real cockeyed. But we all have our things, right? For me, I just one thing I can't. Oh, it's so difficult being friends or like even I've had lovers before who were avoidant, and they say that like anxious people attract avoidance. That's what I've seen and I've read that they don't necessarily attract secure. They tend to attract avoidant people, right? That's just who we tend to attract. I'm at a point where I don't want to attract that no more, y'all. Like, sorry, the camera was all up in my face, y'all. I'm just at a point where I don't want to attract that. You know what I mean? I don't want to attract that. I want to attract secure relationships. That's across the board, you know? Because avoidant, it's hard. It's hard dealing with them. It's a lot of emotional work. Because I feel like avoidants don't understand how they trigger people. They don't get it. Like, I don't think it registers for them and they don't feel bad about it, right? But as anxious people, what we have to work on is we have to give people space. And I've learned with maturity to give people space. Like I've learned, okay, I'm like, I gotta give this person space. Maybe I'm they could see my anxious in me. It's something in me that where they see it, so I gotta work on that, right? But I'm just coming to the conclusion that if an avoidant person is around me, I gotta like figure out how to get away from them. Not get away, but I just have to figure out how to either stay in relationship with them and just understand that it's always gonna be a level of distance there. Because avoidant people, they'll be around you for a little bit, right? Like they'll be around you, but they'll like if they have an issue or even if they don't have an issue, I think their natural thing to do is to like distance themselves from you and not give an explanation. Does that make sense? So as anxious people, what we have to understand is that we can't always expect an explanation, but if something bad went on between you and that avoidant person, you need to give an explanation. And I think that's one thing with avoidant people that it just really grinds my gears because they don't understand that what they do, like they don't understand it because they don't feel it because they don't know what that's like. You get me? That's not their attachment style. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just thought about that. I know I'm ranting at this point, but, I think anxious attached people, we have to figure out how to continue to honor space, but also understand that we have the ability to, because sometimes I've read somewhere that some people believe that you can switch your attachment style based on where you are in your life or whatever. Like that can change. Like, as sometimes you could be more anxious, sometimes you could be more secure, sometimes you could be more detached. Like me, I could kind of do all of them. I think I just show up as anxious. Sorry, this camera's all in my face. I'm over here trying to cook at the same time. Look at this tofu. Look at this little tofu, y'all, in my small little cute apartment. Oh, yeah, y'all. I'm gonna add more seasoning to it. That's just a little pepper I put on it. But yeah, I don't know. Those are just some of my thoughts about these attachment types because I do think there's something to it. Like, I definitely think that there's something to these attachment styles and how we are in relationship with each other. I know for me, though, with my avoidance, I don't know. I think I just have to understand that they can't be. I don't know. When we both trigger one another, because I think we trigger each other naturally and we don't want to just give voice to that. Um, right? So, for example, like if you have a friend who's a avoidant or you have a lover who's an avoidant, the avoidants don't communicate, but then the anxious, the anxious, we try to communicate, but then it's seen the wrong way, or then the avoidance says they feel overwhelmed, and then it's just too much of a dance where now I'm at a point where I'm like, I need secure. That's what I need. And I don't know so maybe I have to do more work on myself to attract secure in every single way. Friends, lover, family, or who I call chosen family. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts about these attachment styles because they say that anxious attachments, we do too much. I've been seeing some content about that, like, oh, anxious, y'all do too much, y'all do too much. But then I just feel like avoidance, they don't take accountability, and I think that's what frustrates me as an anxious person. They don't take accountability, you know. But then, let me turn this fire down, y'all. This fire way too high. But then, on the same, I hope I'm making sense. I do feel like depending on where we are in our life and in our mood, we could also switch attachment styles. You know what I mean? So, because I have moments where I'm more detached and I'm avoidant because I don't want to deal with something, right? I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with that child. Or I just need my space. But what I think what's different with me, knowing that I'm anxious, is that I'll come back to the table and I'll talk, even if a person needs space, I'm like, okay, let me come back and talk, let me try, I just think for me, I get tired after a while. Like for me, I'm like, oh, I can't keep doing all this work if the person don't care. Like oh my God. I can't keep doing it. It's too much.